Jigsaw, the game continues. This will be my final review in my Saw series of reviews because I've already reviewed Spiral. So yeah, this will be the last movie that I cover to conclude this review series. This has been a lot of fun to talk about this franchise, and as I've said in the past, this has been a franchise I've been dying to cover on my channel for at least a couple of years now. I've been wanting to talk about this franchise, and now to actually have finally done that, and to look at the story and look at like how it all connects together. Like that's been a lot of fun to do. I've enjoyed majority of this franchise. Saw 5 is the only movie that I really don't like, but it has glimmers and it has moments of enjoyment in it. But like as a Saw movie, it just doesn't. It felt very disconnected, like from the others. It didn't have that good flow that the other sequels did. But then yeah, like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 6 and 7, I have really enjoyed. But yeah, 5 is that middle sequel where it's just trying to figure out like what to do, because 5 was when they handed off the directing position to what was his name, Kevin Hackey. I think that's what his Kevin Hackey. Yeah, I think that was his name. And I think that was his first time directing as well, which it definitely shows. But yeah, like it wasn't an awful movie. It still felt like a Saw movie, but it felt very disconnected. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, I've enjoyed all these movies, and now Jigsaw. It's been a while since I've actually seen this. I saw it when it first came out, and then I watched it a second time in 2018. Actually, when did this movie come out? 2017, I think. Yeah, 2017. And so, yeah, I saw this movie a second time in 2018, and I haven't seen it since. So it's been a few years since I've actually seen Jigsaw. I'm gonna try and finish this review because it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning here. So yeah, I'm gonna try and get through this review fast, because I already did my review for Saw 3D The Final Chapter today, and I watched that and reviewed that, and I'm watching Jigsaw on the same day. So I'm trying to wrap up this franchise. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about Jigsaw. So, the opening to this movie, we're introduced to a character, Edgar, who he's already in the middle of this game, and he has to get a detonator and start the other game that has 5 people in it. And if he doesn't press, or if he doesn't start this detonator, in other words, he will die. It's either him, it's either him or them. And so this is like kind of like a survival of the fittest scenario where he does not want to die, so he presses. And this is one of the easier challenges, like, as well. Like, I don't know what else he had to do. This might be the only thing he had to do in like a short period of time, maybe. But yeah, he gets this detonator, and he starts the second game that has 5 people in it. And one of the cops accidentally shot him in the chest, which is where Detective Halloran told them not to shoot, and to only shoot at his left arm, which was the arm that was holding the detonator. And then Edgar and then he says the game it started, which is a kick-ass line. Like that entire opening, that entire opening like sequence, like the whole chase scene. It's like it's a very different opening to what we have seen in the past. In the previous like Saw movies, it's a very different opening. It opens like with a car chase, and it's because majority like the other Saw movies have opened with a trap, and this is the trap, and this is one of the easier traps. Like it seems like he just has to click a button, and then like that's his game done and dusted, and he can just walk away free. Like I don't think it would have been that easy, but from what we learn of his game, that's all we know of as far as I know. I could be wrong, there could be more to it, but that's what we learned from the opening scene and just other little segments throughout the movie. And then the title sequence, Jigsaw comes on screen. Like I really like this title sequence. It fades in. It fades in like a jigsaw puzzle. So yeah, or it forms like a jigsaw puzzle, which is pretty cool. Like I've liked all the title sequences in all these Saw movies. Like I think they are creative. Like I love the opening to these movies. You know, with the Lionsgate logo, and then the Twisted Pictures logo. Like that is classic. Like that is classic Saw. You know you're in for a Saw movie when those two logos pop up. So yeah, but yeah, I really dig the title sequence. And then we're introduced to our first trap of the film, which is the bucket trap, the bucket head, whatever you want to call it, where there's 5 contestants and there's 5 victims, where they have these helmets on their head that are attached to a chain, and the timer starts, and the chain is pulling them into where the razor blades are, and the request. John Kramer gave to them was blood. Doesn't matter how big or small it is. And so, yeah, like 4 of the contestants. Why do I keep using the word contestants? That's that just feels wrong in the context of this movie. Contestants, yeah, victims. That sounds much better because they really are. It's not like they signed up for this. Victim sounds more like the word for this, and that's what I've used in other movies. I don't know where the word contestants came from. But yeah, the victims. So yeah, 4 of the victims make it into the next room. One of them, I'm guessing, was still out cold, and he doesn't wake up until the very end. And then that's the last we see of him, which yeah, I'll get into that. What else do we have here? Yeah, and Tobin Bell, he returns to do the voice in this movie, it's good to hear. Tobin Bell, he is iconic in this franchise. He is one of the best parts of these movies. Like he plays John Kramer perfection. He does like the greatest job. Like nobody else can nail what Tobin Bell does with the Jigsaw role. He has such an awesome story, and he has such an awesome presence in the Saw movies. Like he is such an incredible actor. So yeah, he returns to the voice, which is amazing. And then we're introduced to Logan, where he's playing baseball with his daughter, and then Howard. Howard pulls up in his car, and okay, so my problem here is Logan had his mobile phone switched off, so the cops can't track him. So the question I have written down here is, how did Howard exactly know where Logan was at? Howard, he would have checked, I'm sure, Logan's house first if he wasn't there. Like, how did he know he was at the baseball nets? I mean, that just it doesn't make sense for me. If his phone were turned off, how he can't get in contact with him. So yeah, it's like yeah, I don't know unless he was just driving past, but like the way that scene was executed, it does not seem like that. But like that it's just a very minor issue. It wasn't like too noticeable. I just noticed it upon this viewing. But yeah, it's not something. It's not like a big issue or anything. So, yeah. And then we see there's a lady jogging past people, and everybody seems to be looking in the same direction. They all seem to be looking up at something, and people's reactions are like shocked, scared. Just from some of the facial expressions I could see from some like the background characters. And then the lady who is jogging, she turns around and we see one of Jigsaw's victims hanging from the bridge with the bucket over his head. So when I first saw this movie when it came out, I first thought that was the guy who didn't survive the buckethead trap, and like I don't know why he would be hanging there, but like that's what I thought, because like that would make the most sense. But yeah, apparently it's just some random body who did play the game at one point in time. So yeah, Billy the Puppet, he makes a return in this movie. As he's made an appearance in like every Saw movie, so he comes out of the shadows, and there's a new addition to Billy in this movie where he has glowing red eyes, which, okay, I don't mind this idea. It does make sense in the context of the movie where like people have cell phones in this movie now. Because in the original, I think it was tape. It was tapes. I'm pretty sure, and it was old TVs and all that. In this movie, it's like HD TVs and all that. But yeah, it makes sense in modern days like technology, like why Billy would have red eyes. I don't know what happened to the original like Billy the Puppet, because what happened? So in Saw 3D, Hoffman he burnt down the warehouse where I think the remaining Billy the Puppets were, because there were several of them created for the Jigsaw games. So I think the remaining of the Billy the Puppets got burnt during the events of Saw 3D. I didn't mind the new look for Billy the Puppet with the glowing red eyes and all that. Yeah. So our main characters in this one that are in the game being played are Mitch, Ryan, Carly, and Anna. And the first character to go here is Carly. And so what happens here is Ryan injected 3 needles into Carly, and one of the needles had the antidote. Another one had acid in it. That would be a painful death if she chose the wrong one. And so at the end of this, Ryan just decides. Like at first, he gives the choice to Carly to choose one, but then Carly's like too scared because she doesn't want to choose the wrong one, as you would be in a situation like this. Like you would be hesitant because all the 3 needles look all the same, so it's very hard to choose the correct one. And so yes, at the end, so Ryan just injects her with the 3 needles instead of letting her choose because time's running out. and all that, and and Carly's death isn't too bad. There are some really like cool like practical effects and just like and little attention to detail in that kill, which I really enjoyed. The interrogated body at the surgeon, like where like half of where his face is like ripped off and all that, like that is like glorious practical effects. Like in my Saw 3D review, I praised the practical effects in this franchise, and yeah, the practical effects, once again, like do not fail in this. They are really damn good. At the surgeons, like you see his brain and you see the inside of his face, like man, like they are some fantastic like practical effects. So yeah. So Ryan gets caught in a wire. Ryan's leg gets caught in a wire under the floor. So he steps on like on the wrong wooden board, and his leg goes through it, and it gets attached to the next trap. Where he has to pull a lever in order to save Mitch and Anna, who are stuck in a room that is filling with sand and pitchforks and other sharp materials, falling like knives and just other sharp materials like that. What else? And the more time he spends not doing the trap, the more the wire gets tighter around his leg. And I want to talk about the Jigsaw tapes in this movie, because these, like, I think the Jigsaw tapes. There we go. The Jigsaw tapes. Like, I think they look pretty good in this movie. I don't know if I do like the idea of the HD TV. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. In the style of this movie, it does make sense, but I don't know how I feel about the games having high definition TVs, and that's how the Jigsaw tapes are playing. And plus, I don't even know if it even is tapes this time around. Like, since everything's all digital in this, it would not surprise me if it's like a DVD or a memory stick of sorts or something. But because somebody would have to click play on that tape. On the when Billy appears, on the TV, and he's and he's explaining what you have to do in order to survive and all that. But yeah, the Jigsaw tapes in this, they aren't too bad. I don't mind them. It does have a different look to it, and that's just this movie in general. It's the camera ratio on this one. It's very different to how the other previous Saw movies were shot. It's very different in tone and style, and the way it's shot. There is a lot more money tossed at Jigsaw. So what else? So Ryan and Anna get stuck in a room, starts filling with sand. Yep. I see Ryan. He has to pull the lever to release Mitch and Anna. So to open the door from the sand pit. At least that's what I'm calling it for this review. Ryan's leg breaks into quarters because the wire is getting tighter, and it gets tight to the point where it cuts his legs in quarters. A Jigsaw fan website, which whose character was this for? The Jigsaw fan website that belongs to what is it? Who is it? To Eleanor, which is Logan's like surgeon partner. And Eleanor shows Logan like her secret like hideout, or her secret like fan place, if you want to call it that, where all of Jigsaw's previous traps have been. So the traps that you see on display in this little fan house, is you see the angel trap, the cube trap, and the reverse bear trap. These were the ones that I could notice. I'm sure there were more, because it's like a room filled of Jigsaw traps. And the one thing that we do learn about Eleanor's character is that she's one of the followers of John Kramer's prophecy. And we learn in this movie that John Kramer, that many people find John Kramer's prophecy fascinating. So he has this fan base in this movie, which kind of makes sense. It's a cool idea, and I think it's the idea is utilized very well in this movie, and it's something that hasn't really been explored in a Saw movie. And since the Jigsaw is set, so at the end of this movie they say it's set 10 years. So he started 10 years. 10 years later. So I want to say this Jigsaw takes place 15 to 20 years after the events of Saw 3D. I want to assume, because I might be wrong with that. But what else? So John designed the spiral trap that we see here, that took place before all the other traps, and they say that it was used, but the victims, if this trap was ever used, were never found. And then we cut back to the game that Mitch and Ryan and Anna are all in, and Mitch's trap is the spiral trap that we just saw in modern day. And so what I could pick up from this scene here is, so the game that we're seeing is that's in the past, and there's a new game being played in modern day. Because Eleanor has this trap, locked up in her secret warehouse, of along with the other Jigsaw traps. So it was used once by the victims that we see in the game, but then it's been 10 years since that game. Was it that game? It may have been a longer than that, because at the end of this movie, they're saying that he recreated the game 10 years ago. So the game that we must have been seeing would have been 10 years earlier. I might be wrong on that statement there, though. Detective Keith Hunt takes photos of Eleanor and Logan while they're in Eleanor's fan house, and he uses those to to set up, to blame them for the Jigsaw murders that are going on in modern day. Because she has all these traps laying around, and these traps are familiar to the police, because I'm sure back in the day some of these police would have investigated investigate these traps. So they would have, when Detective Keith Hunt shows shows the head police like these photos, like the those traps would have looked recognizable. Like I know these police we didn't see in the original movie. I'm sure in timeline, I'm sure they would have investigated it. What else do I have here? Okay, so Mitch, this this game, this trap is his, the spiral trap, and we find out here that Mitch killed John Kramer's nephew in a motorcycle accident. So, John Kramer's nephew gave Mitch $600 for the motorcycle, and Mitch knew that the motorcycle was leaking, but he sold it anyways without having any second looks at it to make sure everything was in good condition, because he even marketed it as condition. So John Kramer's nephew was riding home on his new motorcycle, and the brakes weren't working, and he was going at a pretty high speed, and then a truck hit him, and so that's the reason why Mitch is in this game, is for killing John Kramer's nephew, and this was not a mistake. He did this on purpose. He sold it to get money. He scammed this guy by saying it was excellent condition when it was really in horrible condition. I mean, as far as looks wise, it looked pretty good, but then as far as leaking fuel and all that, leaking gas and all that, it was it was in bad condition. And so Mitch's death is he's put into the spiral trap, and he has to reach the tape at the bottom of the spiral. And Mitch's death, this one, this death, I don't know, it just seemed weird to me. I mean, there's cool practical effects on display. The practical effects are amazing, as I've already said. But I don't know, there's just something weird about his death. But yeah, other than that, I think it's a pretty cool death. I don't know what I found weird about it. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it was a cool death. So, the cops pull John Kramer's body out of the ground to make sure, because at this point in the movie, the cops believe John Kramer is alive, and which I don't know how. Even if he is alive, there would be some really intense explaining in this movie, because at the end of Saw 3, John Kramer got his throat cut. So I got his throat cut by Jeff. So I don't know how anybody can come back from that. Nobody can come back from the dead. From that. So I don't know why the cops would even think that. But yeah, anyways, they pull his body out of the ground, and Edgar's body is inside, and John Kramer's body is missing, which I don't think we ever find out what happened to Jigsaw, what happened to John Kramer's body, because we never see it again. The ending, because the ending takes place during the first game, so that takes place during the game with Ryan and Anna and Mitch and all that. So that can't really, I'm not using that as an excuse here. But yeah, we never find out what happened to John Kramer's body. It could have been ditched somewhere. I don't think we ever find out what happened to it. But yeah, Edgar's body is inside, and then Anna finds a way out. So She keeps like trying to like open the door with the shovel. She finally does, and the door is locked from the outside. So she crawls through this little hole. It's a tight gap, but then someone in a pig mask comes in, comes in, like hits her in the face and knocks her unconscious. And then Anna and Ryan, they wake up. They wake up in a room, and we find out here that John Kramer, believe it or not, is alive. And then Ryan confesses he killed two of his friends in high school, like due to being too drunk. And so what happened is Ryan was standing up in the car and he fell off, and his two friends collided with another car, which caused an explosion, which killed his two friends. And then John Kramer also says Ryan killed another person, which I don't think we see the third person, but yeah, altogether, I think John Kramer said he killed 3 people. I believe it was. So yeah, but he's been doing it since high school. Anna, we find out here as well that Anna and John were neighbors, and so John could hear the arguments that would go on in Anna's household, and so yeah, Anna and Jigsaw and John Kramer, they're familiar with each other. What else do we have here? Okay, so we find out that Logan screwed up Kramer's X-rays, and that he was careless when doing it, and so that's what Logan confesses. And then Logan isn't telling the truth. So the lasers, they hit him. There's all blood going everywhere, and then he hits the ground, and then it's Howard's turn. And then Howard looks at Logan's side, and he sees that there's no laser marks on the roof, and so he so Logan gets up from the ground, and then we find out Logan is the new Jigsaw. Logan is Jigsaw's apprentice. So we find out here that Logan played the buckethead game at the start of the movie, and he was the victim that was being dragged along on the chair that was unconscious, and he was the one that seemingly died during the first trap. But then we find out that Kramer thought that Logan deserved a second chance, and that what he did was an honest mistake. And so Logan, he created this new game for criminals, which we see little moments of Logan's so-called created game, but the game that we're following throughout this movie, that is John Kramer's game, I believe. And the body that we saw earlier in the movie that was hanging from the bridge, that was Logan's game, and same with Edgar as well. Edgar was a part of Logan's game as well. And so Logan went through Detective Howard's files to see the criminals, and so he went through his files and found the criminals, and he put them in his game. And because even Howard, even he admitted that he has put innocent people away, and that he has let criminals and rapists like walk free, like nothing has happened. And with what else? And with Edgar, for example, Howard, he protected Edgar and let him walk free on multiple occasions from crimes. And we find out that Edgar killed Logan's wife. And so yeah, that was the other reason for why Edgar was put in Logan's game. That's why Logan specifically chose him, for the start of the movie. And so yeah, Edgar's game was created by Logan. Already said that. And then there's an awesome like practical effect. I don't know. I'm guessing there is some of this kill that is CGI, but the head split kill, which is Howard's kill, this is an insane death. Like this is awesome. Like you see his head like unfold, and then you see the inside of it. Like fuck, there was some amazing like work done there. Like that is cool. I said at the beginning of this video that I would talk about the opening. So we find out that Logan shot Edgar in the chest. This is going against everything John Kramer set up with, like there were select people being put into these traps, and then they would come out as a new person, learning from their crimes. It's Logan did not give Edgar a second chance. Like, I mean, it makes sense of why he shot him, because Edgar killed Logan's wife and all that, so it does make sense. I see his motivation, like that is in plain view. I understand that, but if Logan is the new Jigsaw, and he was trained by Jigsaw, and he even helped him out. Like he was brought up by Jigsaw. I'm sure John Kramer would have told him like exactly how to play and what the rules are. And so I don't know, it's a minor little issue, but at some time, like this is a new apprentice, and I'm guessing he would bring his own spin on the traps and all that. But like there's no chance at redemption from this. So yeah, I don't know. That's just like it's a big issue, but it makes sense. Like since this is Logan's game and he's putting his own like spin on it and all that. So yeah, I understand that, but if this is like a Jigsaw related game, and in the whole movie, like we are believing John Kramer is alive, because even his body is missing. So like you do believe that he is alive, and there is some good suspense, and there's some good atmosphere surrounding that in this movie. So yeah, anyways, that is my final review. We are done with this franchise. That is it. That is a wrap for my Saw review series. I've had a lot of fun doing this. I love talking about Jigsaw. But yeah, like I really enjoyed this movie. The other thing is, this movie goes back to the familiar roots of what we know Saw to be and what fans love. Because this movie, like, while the traps in it aren't as gory as the previous movies, there is a good amount of carnage candy in this movie. So yeah, but it's not over the top gore like the previous films do offer. But yeah, I really enjoyed Jigsaw. This is a great concluding movie for this review series. So, anyways, guys, let me know down in the comments. Have you seen Jigsaw? What did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you think it was mad? Or did you really not like it? Let me know all your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below. So, anyways, guys, hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, or night, or wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next video. Alright, bye.